You can have the best workout routine, eat the most nutritious food, drink the best water, but if you're not regulating your emotions, if you're not practicing some form of self-awareness to be with yourself, to experience these emotions, then you will get sick. You will struggle in life because that is a very powerful energy. To truly change your life, you actually have to become a different person. Who you are today is the result of your experiences, your thought patterns, your learned behavior, your belief systems. That's created the character that you're playing today. But if you want a new life, if you want a different story, you have to start to write that story for yourself. You have to start to become that person. Now, when we think about who we are, what exactly does that entail? Well, we're a personality, and a personality is made up of what you think, how you feel, and what you do. These three things are your personality, and your personality begins to create your personal reality. So when you want to change your personal reality, you have to change your personality. So you have to change how you think, how you feel, and how you act. Now, in my own studies, this is how I like to frame it. Doesn't mean that this is true, this is just what I've learned so far. Thoughts are the language of the mind, and thoughts actually create your reality. When you meet somebody and you really pay attention, you very quickly realize that we all live in our own bubble, our own reality, our own universe. You and me can be looking at the same movie, the same ocean, the same sunrise, and have totally different experiences. Reality is not objective, it is subjective. It is our bias and our filter that is projected onto the world, and we experience it like that. So thoughts are the language of the mind. That would mean that emotions are the language of the body. In Eckhart Tolle's book, The Power of Now, he said that an emotion is the body's reaction to the mind. Now, most people think the same thoughts every single day. They are just not aware that they are thinking these thoughts. So you very quickly realize that a lot of who you are, a lot of your ways of living are just learned patterns. Remember that neurons that fire together wire together. So the more you think the familiar thoughts, the stronger you make that neural connection, the more you can think it. It's the law of facilitation. The easier it is for electricity to travel through that path, the more often it will. So it gets easier and easier to think those thoughts. So you start to realize that certain things like depression can become learned behaviors. And so what happens to us is we become a collection of beliefs. And a belief is just a thought that you keep thinking. So you keep thinking the same thought, that becomes a belief. Now your body is going to react to that thought, and you're going to start to take actions from that reaction. So your thoughts become your words, become your actions, becomes your habits, becomes your life. So when we really want to change our life, we really have to start changing our thoughts. It's the first principle of the 6 foundation principles of holistic health, which is thinking. In my own experience working with lots of people all over the world, and also working in different industries that dealt with a lot of different people, I very quickly realized that it was the story that somebody is telling themselves that is actually making them sick. It is the story that someone is telling themselves that is keeping them stuck. And usually the story that we're telling ourselves is a very limited story. There's a nice expression that says the mind that perceives the limitation is the limitation. We are creating our own limitations. Every time we think that we can't do something, that it's too difficult, that other people have it better, all of these stories that just start to pass through our mind really are the reason that's stopping us. Now, when I meet somebody and I listen to what they say, it doesn't take me very long to work out where they are in their story based on the language that they're using, because they'll very quickly tell me why they are this way, or why they are stuck this way, or why their life is this way, or why they make this much money, etc. This is why it's so important to watch your language. How do you speak? How do you speak to yourself? What are your thoughts every single day? Paul Chek describes it as stinking thinking. We have a proclivity to think very negative thoughts more often than not. And we are all susceptible to this. A lot of people, when they meet me, they say like, oh, I bet you never have a bad day. It's like, everybody has a bad day. We're all human, we're all susceptible. But you can train yourself, you can train your mind, you can build the habits that are going to be able to pick you up out of this. One thing I do every single morning is I look in the mirror and I talk to myself. Mel Robbins was interviewed recently and she said such an interesting thing. The interviewer said, I don't like looking at myself in the mirror. I think there's no point. It's egotistical. It's a waste of time. Why do you think that is? And she said, why do you think that is? Which is the sign of a good coach, by the way, asking the right questions. And he said he doesn't know. And she said, when you're looking at yourself in the mirror, there are actually two people there. And the person in the mirror needs your love.
I tend to avoid looking in the mirror. Yeah. Why is that?
You tell me.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, think about it. Why do you think you don't look in the mirror?
I've never thought that it was a necessity to gaze upon myself. I'm sure I glance. There's a picture of me in the mirror, but it becomes second nature in a way.
Yes.
But I've never thought about the power of looking in the mirror and how that might actually benefit me.
Well, I want you to consider it's not a reflection. There are two human beings in the bathroom with you every morning. There's you, and there's a human being in the mirror. And the human being in the mirror is really trying. And they are in need of your support. And they are in need of your encouragement. And they need you to wake up and to see them. And they need you to stop beating them up. And they need some encouragement. And this is a really deep thing. And it begins every morning by simply taking a moment and being with the human being in the mirror, which I think represents your soul, your spirit, your potential. For people that, kind of like the inner child work and that stuff, it represents the person inside you that's still trying to heal.
And I just thought that was so beautiful. And so that's exactly what I've been doing for the last 10 years. Most mornings when I wake up, I look at myself in the mirror and I tell myself what I need to hear, what I want to hear, what kind of day I want to have, all the good things. It doesn't matter, because most of us look in the mirror and we notice our hair is not good enough, or our skin's not good enough, or our body's not good enough, or whatever. We look tired today. And you start putting that negativity out there. Now, if you had a friend and they came up to you and they're like, yo, you're looking fat today, and your hair is shit, and you're getting old actually, and there's lots of wrinkles, you would not be friends with this person. However, that is actually the relationship a lot of us have with ourselves. It is extremely negative, and it's extremely criticizing. And so when we are speaking to ourselves in this manner all day long, it's not a wonder that we start to feel pretty crummy and get health injuries and stress and sickness and all of these kind of things, because your body is listening to your mind. Your mind is like the commander-in-chief. This is the army, and it's listening for the commander-in-chief. We've all had that experience. You're in your room, maybe you're on your phone, and you're thinking thoughts like, is he cheating on me? Is she out with the other person or something? You start to think these thoughts. You have no objective evidence for these thoughts, yet your mind goes there. And then what happens? Your body starts to react to the mind. Your heart starts to beat, your blood starts to constrict, your breath starts to change. Perhaps you start to feel all kinds of emotions like anxiety and grief and fear and worry. And so we're all familiar with that. So what I'm saying is not that far off, actually. Now, because we can do that with a negative scenario, we can also do this with a positive one. This is something that I wish people would teach us at a younger age, that we can just as easily create a positive emotional experience with no evidence, just as much as we can create a negative emotional experience with no evidence. So the real work to become a different person is starting to create the experience of that person before you actually have evidence for it. If tomorrow you could have your ideal day, what would you be doing? Exactly. How would you feel? Where would you go? Who would you be talking to? What would be in your environment? What would be the thoughts that you would be thinking? What would be the emotions that you would carry? How would you carry your body? What choices would you make? What choices wouldn't you make? And then when you play this experiment out, you start to get a much clearer picture of the way you should be living. Better yet, you start to get a better picture of how you shouldn't be living today, of the mistakes that you're making in your current way of living that are not in alignment. Let's use an example. Let's say you watch a lot of television, but when you go to your dream life, your ideal life, and you put your vision on your ideal life, that version of you doesn't watch any television. Well, now you have a very good indicator of an action that you're doing very often that's taking out of your time and your energy and scattering your thoughts, and it's not in alignment with the future version of yourself that you want to create. This is why it's so important to really be focusing on what you desire like you're going to get it. At the end of 2020, I snapped my neck, my C1 vertebra totally snapped. If you go back in my videos, you'll see a video where I spoke about it and how I healed my neck very quickly. But that experience was a huge catalyst for me. It really propelled me into a new way of living my life. It made me realize that I can no longer run away from my felt responsibilities and the inner journey that I'd felt calling me for a long time. When I broke my neck, a lot of the research I'd been doing on different people and different religions and different spirituality texts, it all coalesced into this beautiful sentence, and it was this: there's only two things that you need to do every single day. Focus on what you want and focus on what you can control. The only thing you can control is your response. That's it. You can't control the weather unless you're Bill Gates. You can't control you can't control other people. You can manipulate them, but that's still not the same thing. That's the shadow archetype of the magician. You can't actually control that many things in life except the way you're responding to life. And the other thing is only focus on what you want. And it sounds so simple that people don't even pay attention to it. But all day long, we're focusing on what we don't want. We're focusing on the fact that we have this person in our life that we don't want, or the weather's not good, or our body is in pain, or our hair is not the way we want it to be. And we don't seem to realize that every time your focus goes somewhere, your energy is going to that place as well. This means that your energy is going to all these things that you don't want. I never watch the news. I don't pay attention to any of those things. I pay very little attention even to a lot of the things on social media, because it's just not beneficial to me in any way. People say, but you're not going to know what's going on. I'd rather not know what's going on than feed those worlds with a lot of fear and worry and anxiety and stress. The most important thing is my energy. And where I place my focus is what I start to energize. When you really understand this, you'll be a lot more selective with your energy. Remember, in today's world, the new currency is your energy. It's your attention. That's why you have to pay attention, because it costs you your time. So only focus on what you want. And there's another caveat to that. You have to focus on it like you're getting it. This is where creating that positive emotional experience in the future really comes into play. If you can hone your focus, because today it's become very difficult to have a strong focus. Focus on the things that you really, really want. Focus on it like you're going to get it. And then control the way that you respond to the world, because most of us just react to everything that's happening. If you can respond to the world, then you're actually going to start to create the life that you want. This is why so many people don't do it, because that is very difficult. But I would say to you that it's really the only way to do it. Now, it's going to happen gradually. You're not going to go to the gym and try to lift 500 kilograms. You're going to start at a weight that's reasonable for you. So it's the same with this. Start small, start light. If you're into human design and you know your human design chart, you'll know that the bottom right arrow is for manifestation. It's more for awareness. And if it's facing to the left, it's specific manifestation and focused awareness. If it's facing to the right, it's general manifestation and peripheral awareness. This is why people will tell you a lot of different things when it comes to manifestation. You have to know what you want. You shouldn't know what you want. You should know the feeling of it, but it's going to be different for all of us. I have general manifestation and peripheral awareness, which means it's much easier and more appropriate for me to focus on the general feeling of the things that I want rather than get into the nitty-gritty of the exact details. If you have specific manifestation, then all those specific details are really important to you. So on the journey of creating a new life for yourself, it is only you against you. It is only you supporting you. It is only you hindering you the whole time, with the story that we tell ourselves, with the limitations that we place on ourselves, with the beliefs, i.e. the thoughts we keep thinking, that we keep thinking. And so to really create a new life, you have to become very aware of yourself. And in the beginning, when you're becoming very aware of yourself, it's very difficult because you start to see your insecurities, your flaws, your fears, your nightmares. But none of these things are good or bad. Life is inherently neutral, and we are placing meaning on it. We are meaning-making machines. There is no inherent meaning. It is us that gives the meaning to life. When you label something as bad, it becomes bad. And so don't start to label all these roadblocks on your journey as good or bad. They're just part of the experience. They're part of you having this rich experience of being a human that's waking up to the truth of who you are and starting to use that truth to co-create a new, better and brighter future for yourself and therefore all of us. Because the world only benefits from you living your best life. When people are doing really well, when people are happy and fulfilled and connected, they want to see other people happy and fulfilled and connected. All the best people are doing exactly that. They're using their gifts, their talents, their missions, their purpose to help and improve the lives of other people on the journey with their unique talents. Everyone benefits when you become the person that you want to become. This is why I talk so much about the mind and the power of your mind. Your mind is such an incredibly powerful tool. I heard an expression once and it said, the mind makes for a terrible master but a wonderful servant. For most people, their mind is in control of them. It is running amok. It is chasing after every shiny object, every thought, bouncing all over the place. It's spinning around on all those negative thought loops and patterns that you've created through your experiences. But when you begin to master your mind and it becomes your servant, now your whole life opens up to you. Now you can direct your focus, you can choose, you can curate the thoughts that you're thinking, you can curate your life experience because thoughts are creating your reality. I've seen this happen with so many people when they allow their mind to rule over them. It's destined for a difficult time, especially now. It is so crucial that you take control of your mind because everything wants your attention. Everything wants to take your energy and your power away from you. And the more fractured your focus is, the less power you have. If you're constantly switching between tasks, checking social media every 2 minutes, checking every message on your phone, reading every bit of news, replying, you're going to be so fractured that you feel very powerless. Then it feels like life is happening to you. That's when you know exactly that you've given your power away because life is happening for you. So it's an invitation to slow down a bit, to spend less time on technology, more time with yourself. And when you start to spend time with yourself in the beginning, it can be very uncomfortable because a lot of negative things start to come up. In fact, a lot of people say to me that meditation is bad or it doesn't work because when they meditate, they start to feel bad and bad things start coming up. That's you. That is really what's hiding beneath the surface, and meditation is revealing that. It's just that you're so busy that you don't have time to process that. I dated a girl once. I was expressing some of the emotions that I was going through, and she said, I'm too busy to feel sad. And that to me explains where a lot of us are today, that we are too busy to feel. Whatever you resist will persist. Those feelings are not gone. Those thoughts that you push down, that anger that you suppress, those emotions that you push down, they're not gone. They're living inside your body and they will wreck you. They will wreck your health. You can have the best workout routine, eat the most nutritious food, drink the best water, but if you're not regulating your emotions, if you're not practicing some form of self-awareness to be with yourself, to experience these emotions, then you will get sick. You will struggle in life because that is a very powerful energy. Remember that your organs don't just digest your food, they also digest your emotions. So it's very important to have emotional awareness, to have emotional regulation. to regulate your nervous system, to balance yourself out, to support your inner and outer child, to really listen to yourself, to be there with yourself, to feel yourself. So if you're new to meditating and these type of things happen, it's okay. It's important to note that there's nothing wrong with you, that you're not broken, that this is a natural process of starting to feel what we have suppressed for a very long time. And if you're really struggling with it, this is time to reach out to other people, reach out to family and friends, anyone who can really hold space and actually help you through this moment, or to work with a coach. A lot of my coaching is revolved around all of these things. That's why I talk about them, helping people with their thoughts, emotional regulation, understanding their body, movement, hydration, nutrition, sleep, fascia, meditation, breath work. All of these things are crucial. They're not just hocus pocus ideas anymore. These are crucial to living in the modern world, because never before have we been so inundated with information. Never before have we been bombarded by so many chemicals, or so many toxins, or heavy metals, or propaganda. It's so important for all of us to start to create a better life for ourselves, to start to become that person that we see ourselves as, that limitless potential that we really know lives within each of us. Always remember that in life you always have a choice. And when it feels like you don't have a choice, it's only because you've forgotten that you have a choice. It's really important to take care of yourself, to take care of your sleep, to stay properly hydrated, to move your body, to stretch, to release your fascia, to move your lymphatic system, to get sunlight, to eat whole foods, to get good sleep, to learn how to breathe correctly and breathe properly and actually train your breathing. A lot of people look at these things as boring or not important, but these are the foundations. It's so fundamental to your experience, and health is your ability to experience life. So if you're not breathing properly, you're going to have a poor experience. If you're not hydrated, you're going to have a poor experience. If you're not well rested, poor experience. Getting enough of the right sunlight, poor experience. So on this journey to creating a better version for yourself, you're going to encounter many roadblocks and hindrances. But when you can frame everything in your life as happening for you, you recognize that these hindrances and roadblocks are not hindrances and roadblocks. They are opportunities for you to grow and challenges for you to arise to, so that you can actually become that better version of yourself. Because to go from where you are to where you want to be is not a straight line. If it was, you would get there very easily. But to really craft a life that you want to live, you're going to have to let go of those parts of yourself that you relied on, that you constructed to get to where you are today. You allow for the more real, the more authentic, the more genuine version of you to come through. Because any limitation you have is not true. Any negative idea you have about yourself is not true. So as those parts you die off, you allow space for the new to come in. If you are looking for a coach that works in all of these areas, nutrition, hydration, sleep, movement, breathing, thinking, starting to rewrite your story, having someone that has experience through all of these stages, then let me know. You'll find a link to my website, or you can send me a message on Instagram, or even leave me a comment beneath this video. But I wish you all the best on your journey, and I will see you soon. Much love.